Hello. How are you? 3, 2, 1.
This is episode number 455.
Happy
of
birthday,
WPwatercooler.
WordPress.
Happy birthday, 20th birthday.
Happy birthday, 20th. Woo!
I'm
Happy
Jason
birthday.
Tucker. Go to my website at jasontucker.blog.
Hey, I'm Say. I do stuff on the internet at Say Read Media on all the things. See you there.
WordPress, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, WordPress. Simpsons,
Yeah.
please don't sue us.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, you can go over and subscribe to us as a podcast and hang out with us in our Discord.
Come hang out with us because we're real people and we're just.
I had fun. I had fun setting that up last night. That was a lot of fun.
You were being way too quiet. I knew there was something up because you weren't like checking in. You're like, oh, I'm gonna do some things. You always go quiet when you do it. Hey, happy birthday, WordPress tomorrow, but also soon in some places.
Yeah.
Real soon. I'm wearing my swag. My sweatshirt, which, I was like, oh, it'll be too hot. But no, because climate change. So California is apparently becoming Seattle and getting good use out of the sweatshirt.
Not here. It's going to be like it's going to be like 84 here today, which is lovely.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I have something to show you too, and I will tell you about it. Those of you who are listening while I do this. Look at I know it's dangerous to hold up a white. Oh, it's like making my color weird too. Dangerous to hold up a blank white thing, right? Because then you can put anything on there. But this is an envelope. It's a sealed envelope. I thought we could do a little unboxing of my swag. My 20th.
Wow.
Is it so exciting? Oh, it's in it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I ordered. It's in this tiny box. This is not a box. This is a thing. Should we see? Okay.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Oh, look! It's a little Wapuu keychain.
Oh, that's cute.
With his little hat and his little balloon. And then some micro pins.
Okay.
Oh, you want to see up close? Here you go. There's some pins. Now,
Nice.
these have a second life that is going to happen for them. Do you want to hear about it, everybody?
Please.
So this design here on this pin is open sourced. It is, you can go get it. You can go get this design. You can make your own t-shirts. You don't even have to buy the official swag if you don't want to. You know all about that, right, Jason? Cosper?
Yeah, I have a history of making my own t-shirts. That is correct.
You did. You do have a history of that. And not just, recent history, a long time history. You used to have a fun fact, everyone. Cosper used to have a t-shirt blog. So if you're a long-time listener of this show, you might know that.
Right.
So this dovetails in so many ways. Okay, so this design, which, this kind of looks like a little badge, right? Doesn't it? Little badgy badge.
Absolutely.
So we've got a ticket going, and I am very hopeful that through pressure, community desire and collaboration, that we will actually be able to begin have some little commemorative badges that will be on your WordPress profile. Your WordPress.org profile. So that's the plan. I'm hopeful that will happen. Not soon, but at some point. You may have noticed WordPress moves slowly when it has issues, but I will not give up. And in order to get, this is probably going to change. Oh, are we wearing our same shirts today? Courtney's chiming in the chat. So if you participate in the From Blogs to Blocks campaign by tomorrow, anytime tomorrow, and really, it'll probably be anytime ever because, who likes to hold a boundary? Tomorrow is the day you want to go. You want to get the marketing. You want to go to the marketing blog and you want to participate in tomorrow's prompt because you will probably get then the participant badge that says, essentially, I was here. I existed in the WordPress ecosystem at this time, which is really all it's going to do. But you don't have one for WP15. You don't have one for WP10, so you might get one for WP20. So I think you should try it, which means we'll be putting out the last day sooner than we've been putting out the other one. And I need you all to know, anyone who's listening, and tell your friends, it's an easy lift. You can do this last one. Okay, I promise.
Is it be on a podcast and talk about it? Because
no, definitely not that one. And I want also people to know that I have not actually formally participated yet. I mean, I've definitely participated, but I have not done my answers yet. But I'm going to start tomorrow. So I want to set an example for everyone who is a procrastinator. So that's my little plug. That's my plug.
I was telling Tucker in the pre-show before you showed up and joined us say that
I believe you meant to say before I graced you with my presence.
Absolutely. Right. But I was like, I have been getting tagged every single day as to Blogs to Blocks and to helping y'all come up with some developer stuff like that, but I have yet to actually do a post.
Here's the thing. You've already done a multitude of the prompts themselves.
Sure.
One of my favorite prompts, and this isn't all going to be from Blogs to Blocks today. No, maybe it will be because it's like my favorite thing ever. It's not like my favorite thing ever, but I'm very proud of it. But one of my favorite prompts has been and continues to be the dev prompt from earlier on, which was your suggestion, which is to fork Hello Dolly and change out the lyrics.
Yes.
Which I just think is just the most like purest activity, but also just has such potential for funny. And you've already done that. It was inspired by your activity. So really all you have to do is post your fork. You don't even have to do anything extra. There was also the one also inspired by you about designing a t-shirt and offering it for sale. You may have already done that. And so I don't know if you want to post that one. But there are some other ones you could post.
Right.
So anyway, I'm just saying, like, if you think about it, folks, you've already done a lot of this stuff. If you've written your WordPress origin story, that's the first day. Look at that. You're done. You participated. You are part of it. So if you haven't done it yet, that's my pitch. Tell your friends. It's actually really fun. And the team that put these together, it's a bunch of collaborators, help put the prompts together. And then the tinier team, we've been just like getting them out every day. And I think they're really fun. I've really enjoyed them. And it's not over tomorrow. You have until August to WordCamp US to complete the set. So
okay.
Yeah, the idea is all you have to do is by tomorrow, you just have to do, chime in on tomorrow.
She's giving herself some runway is what's happening here.
That's exactly what happened.
Sure.
Aspirational runway.
I could say that it was for the community and I understand how busy everybody is. It's for me. It was just for me. No, I know I'm not the only one who has like, a job thing and like some like familial obligations and maybe a pet, maybe laundry to do. So like, WordPress is already so much of our lives.
Panic attacks, personally.
Panic attacks, they happen.
Yeah.
So the plan here is not to put pressure on people to do another thing because this is supposed to be fun. It's really just about connecting. Like I'm just monologuing here. I apologize. But it really is about reconnecting to what WordPress is all about and remembering why we're here, why we're doing this. Sometimes it can feel really thankless, except for not, I was going to say not Skinny Mullenweg. I don't know if that works the same way. Matt Mullenweg gave out coupons. I don't know what the criteria was, but I'm a current contributor, as I've mentioned a few times on this active contributor, and we got a little swag coupon in the email. So if you are an active contributor, check your spams because everything from WordPress goes to spam. We need to work on that, people. Anyway, that's my From Blogs to Blocks monologue. I will now step off of my soapbox. Here we go.
Well, let's take something about kind of, since we're, this can be a reflective time. Like, do y'all remember like when you first came across WordPress? Like when you first like got your like the first like I had played around with B2 Cafe Log a little bit, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. Like
Yep.
I liked it, but there was just something to it where I was like, ugh, this is enough of a struggle that I was going to continue to work on like Blogger, which is what I was using because it was hosted. I pushed a button, it pushed my site up to like my web host FTP. But then I discovered WordPress, and specifically, like I played around with it a little bit, and it was rudimentary. I still liked Blogger, but then I came across a one-click install of it at DreamHost, where I work now, and they were one of the first people who had this kind of like one-click installer that I seriously I hit a button.
cPanel memories.
Yeah, I hit a button.
I would say memories, except for I'm literally in a site right now for a client who's still in a cPanel, so it's not really memories so much as like, yeah, current times also. Anyway, you hit the button.
Trauma. Yeah, I hit the button, and then within about 5 minutes, the 5-minute install, I had a site and could start playing with it. It already had something to import content from Blogger, but I decided to do kind of like a fresh start, and I started playing around with it.
Was that what was your OG domain there? Do you remember?
Yes, it was. I at the time really liked having very difficult to spell domain names, so I had a William Gibson Neuromancer reference. It was onosendai.info was my original. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Also, sidebar, apologies to everyone else listening who's not me or Cosper. How have we never talked about Neuromancer before? This is like an obsession that I have from childhood because I never finished the game on the Apple IIe. How have I not talked? Have we talked about this before? Have I? Okay, we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when you like think about your memories. You're like, oh yeah, remember that? No, I actually Neuromancer. I could never get off the freaking planet. Anyway, okay, not the point. But
that was
that reference. Is my point.
Yeah, that was my early kind of foray into WordPress. I eventually brought my t-shirt blog that I was running on Blogger into Pre-Shrunk was the name of that, and brought that into WordPress.
Genius title.
I mean, yeah, I built up, fortunately, thanks to some coverage on like Boing Boing and Kotkey.org and stuff like that. I had enough of an audience that at the height, I had like 1,000 t-shirts with crap printed on them.
You're like the early Threadless.
I was the top referral like person on Threadless. I was at like the top of their leaderboard for like 4 years.
We're in the company of greatness here, and
well, my presence is a present.
It really is. You know, like there is something to be said for all the like we're in that special age cohort where we were just like kind of like really into the internet. Like we were just like the kind of like the before it got all, you know, glossy and sealed off like the fancy car engines now, you know, we were like in there with our oil and our whatever, just like, oh, look at it, I can soup this thing up to do that. I think that I love thinking about how much time was spent like trying to make things work.
Yeah.
Like long for a million reasons, but I just realized that I still have XAMPP on my computer. Did I mention
wow.
XAMPP, XAMPP? I still don't know how to say
just shows you that Say never rebuilds her computer.
Yeah,
the day she opened it is the same install that she.
Right.
Like just my computer is actually older than WordPress. No, I remember you had to really set up a whole thing that was for like local servers. And I used to teach that install. I taught it at WordCamp Phoenix, and I would teach it even to small business owners. Like, here's how you go into your FTP and you're moving these things over.
Right.
And then when they introduced the quick install, I was like, look, you just hit this button. and then you do this, and you ignore all of this stuff, and then you just keep going. It's anyway. What were you saying about pre-shrunk? So sorry. So many tangents.
So no,
Million
I
tangents.
just kind of brought everything into WordPress. I started like bringing sites into it, and the importer worked so well that I was like, well, I think this is my way forward. And
I think that's a key thing to remember, that the importer was really important part of that.
Yes, absolutely.
It would not have, everyone doesn't want to start over. And so just having that immediate thing from Blogger, which is still in there, by the way.
Yes.
I think it's still in there, isn't it? Or is it Blogspot now? I don't know. But I think it's still in the like auto import tools that like come in. Now I want to like go look. I haven't looked at that in a while. Anyway, so what about you? What about you, Tucker?
Oh boy. Let's see here. So I think Jen and I already proposed to her, and I needed a website built for our wedding website.
Aww.
So I own jasonandjen.com, and we needed a wedding website. So I installed Mambo, and
number 5
No, it was number 1. And I freaking hated it. It was the worst. The back end looked like it was PHP BB, which was this, like forum software, and it had the exact same kind of look and feel to it, and it sucked. Like everything about it sucked. And then it became, which one did it become Joomla or become Drupal? I can't remember which one it was. Whichever one it was, it became one of the two. Not my cup of tea. So I ended up using B2, and then ended up with WordPress, and ended up starting to use the WordPress stuff. And I already had my own personal website that was running on WordPress as well. But the main website that kind of really started it off was that that wedding website. And yeah. I mean, my origins in this were like using like LiveJournal back in the day.
I was going to talk about LiveJournal.
Movable type, and doing all the movable type stuff. And and then moving my stuff from LiveJournal into WordPress, because there was an importer for that. And then running some crazy like Perl script that would like help you move all of the content as well as the images.
Question
and that was
for
funky.
Both of you about this. When you moved back in the day from LiveJournal or Blogger to WordPress, did you consider, or was there an impact in losing the kind of the community or like the web circles that had developed there? Because it was much more of like the web circle time. And sure. I don't really remember. I know there were comments on obviously on Blogger and on LiveJournal, but I don't remember if there was like a greater community that was like there a forum or anything like that. I was not really like into LiveJournal. I dated a guy who was into LiveJournal, and so I was, I like had secondhand LiveJournal stuff, but I never really got into it because it seemed weird to me to be typing all my feelings into the computer. I was like, but. And I'm still, by the way, feel this way. It's like, I still don't want to put all my feelings onto the internet. I don't think LiveJournal was ever hacked, though, was it? That'd be interesting.
No, it was just bought by the Russians.
Was it?
Yeah. So that was the whole reason why my whole community left it, was the fact that it had a huge like Russian.
No, what? Wait. No wonder they're so good at psychoanalyzing America. They have like all of the.
They're basing everything off of
the millennials. From like 2000 angst years.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many. I have so many LiveJournal posts that are very much like any time one of my friends would get emotional in the early 2000s, we would just tell each other, "Go tell it to your LiveJournal." It's just like, hey, like we're just trying to have a good time. Just go tell it to your LiveJournal.
Oh my God, I'm going to start saying that now.
I moved all of my LiveJournal stuff to my personal website, my Jason Tucker site, which has moved and changed domain names so many times now. But all that content's still on there, which I think is hilarious, because like you could go back and just like read about how like Jen and I were starting to date and all this stuff. And the thing is that account back on LiveJournal was private. And so that whole thing was written in a way knowing that it was private and only my friends would be able to read it.
Believing it was private, you mean?
Right. So, and all of my friends' accounts were all private as well. And all these friends that I'm talking about are like personal close friends at the time. So we all would just read each other's live journals.
Yeah, that was part of the community, because did you get like a notification or something? It's like something would pop up and you'd be like, oh, hey, here, or you just have to go check. Remember how you have to go check the internet? Go check stuff. Go see if they refresh the page. Yeah, exactly.
It didn't all just get pushed to you. You had to actually actively go check.
Which, you know, is interesting in terms of like information bombardment. Just as
I will say it is weird that, you know, thinking about this on the live journal side of things, is that even before that with MySpace had, I mean, they were probably around the same time as well, but like I put a lot of stuff on MySpace, but MySpace was definitely not like LiveJournal. Like I treated LiveJournal like an actual journal, where MySpace was kind of just like, here's some stupid stuff that I found on the internet and I'm going to share it with other people.
Early meme sharing.
Oh, like Twitter.
Which is like Twitter, I
don't want to talk about Twitter anymore. Every time we talk about Twitter, we should have like a moment of silence for Twitter, because this is like sad. Okay, one tiny sidebar on Twitter. This is not even political. I opened a tweet the other day and it was a literal blog post. I was like, what?
Oh my gosh, isn't that true?
I'm scrolling and I'm like, this is not Twitter. I am on this guy's blog. And like, I'm reading it and I'm just like the people used to try to be concise and like fit their words. And now it's just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, wow. So Twitter has now gone full circle and is now LiveJournal. So I'm thinking,
sure.
So I'm feeling like LiveJournal. I don't like it at all. Anyway, sad times for Twitter.
Yeah.
Let it be known. This is why it is so kind of cool, essentially, that WordPress is 20, because, you know, Twitter's not even 20, right? Like Facebook. Right. Facebook is like about the same age, right, as WordPress, I think. I don't know, something like that. But like MySpace, you know, it's dead and gone. You know, it might still be there, but it's dead and gone. And the fact that there's still, you know, a community happening, there's innovation happening, there's, you know, momentum, there's stuff going on, new things, still old things. But that's kind of a huge deal, because you can lose stuff. Like, we have lost Twitter, we have lost MySpace. And is that because it's open source and whoever they are, someone cannot take it away, buy it and change it? And I think probably yes, but that is really a big deal. Like it's like if a dog were to live to 20 years old, it's like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like a tech company living, what is that?
Space But there Hay. Is Space Hay, which is actually a MySpace clone.
I just think it's a really big deal that, you know, WordPress is still here, still ticking, still growing, still, you know, I would say in its development stages, you know, honestly, like, right. I don't feel like we're like peaking. Maybe we peaked, but now we're re-peaking. I don't know. I just think that's something to be commended. The community, WordPress but also like
it's, I'm sorry, WordPress, it's like awkward teenage years. And now we're like kind of in college trying to find ourselves, trying on a few personalities, you know, maybe having like
experimenting with authoritarianism, you know, like a little bit of communism, a little bit of socialism, a little bit of authoritarianism, just for fun, just to see.
Right, Scarface poster up on the wall. You know, maybe a Big Lebowski or Usual Suspects, something like that. But just, you know, one of those movies you really get into in college.
There might be some psychedelics in some corners.
Yeah, absolutely.
There just might be. Absolutely. Not this corner because I have a toddler, but you know, some people don't, and you know, some people are going to Burning Man. That's fun for them.
Not it.
No, not it. I'm just saying there's a lot. Not rich enough to go live in a place to pretend I have no money for a weekend.
Yeah, it's called glamping.
But all of those, you know, we really are in like, and even the WordCamps experimental phase, right? Like the recent announcement that we're going to experiment with the WordCamp format. It's like, we're just seeing who we are, man. We're just like seeing what works for us. I love it.
WordPress the college years. Say you
Oh my
haven't
God,
talked
yes.
about your origin story though. Like where did you come
honestly,
across WordPress?
I mean, I've told the story before. I came across
Sure.
WordPress because of my beloved friend Brianna, who is available at TechnoSiren and Brianna.org on all the things. And she was an OG. I keep thinking about she was doing a thing with her then partner in San Francisco, and I went up there for that. And they went to, like, I couldn't see them the day before or after. I think it was the day after the event because they were going to WordCamp. So I saw them on that day, and then they were like, okay, bye, we're out, and going to WordCamp. So I knew about it, and I was like, you're going to a thing? Like, this was like 2007, I think. So I was, 26 or so. And I remember that, like, that was my first introduction to the community component. I don't actually really remember. It was 2006 when Brianna started helping me host my website for my my bookstore, but I had already really been into the internet for a very long time, basically since I was 12 and on GeoCities and all of that. My first best #1 domain, I registered on Network Solutions, and I just lost it.
Oh.
My card expired in November, and I didn't do the right thing of checking, because Network Solutions, I can never remember to log in there. And there's one account, I have one domain on it that I just can never remember anymore. Yeah, and I lost it. Do you want to know what it was? I'll tell you.
Yes.
Idiosyncratic.net. That's what it was. It was beautiful.
That is
nice and short.
A late 90s, early 2000s domain name right there.
Isn't it? I was like, so idiosyncratic. I also had one of those like email makers that was like, you had like it was like when the domain names for emails first started coming out, and there was like, you could get, some fancy names. So I had at mindless.com. I thought that was really I was like, so,
ooh, that's cool.
So transcendent. But yeah, my first idiosyncratic was on there. It's in the Wayback Machine. I'll be posting that. That's actually one of the prompts is go back in time on your, find the oldest website that you've worked on in any way on the Wayback Machine. See if, that you can find, and then post about it. Remember it. So we are verbally, I'll just post this and then I'll be able to do my prompt. Yes. Yeah, it was, it's gone. I also had my bookstore website, again, available on what's that thing called? Wayback Machine. Yeah. I started early on trying to figure out how to do an e-commerce component. I built out a whole, I got really convoluted into it, and then broke so many sites because they were just because I was in the database early times, and it would get so tangled. I just had to blow it up. And I never did it. I never finished and put together my book inventorying database system that I worked on for a very long time. It was a lot more complicated then. It was like trying to build something with sticks, and now there's I had no glue. It was just string and sticks, and then now there's glue and nails and saw and nice wood, and so I always feel like I'm a little bit ahead of my curve. I try to do things before they're possible, and then I give up, and then other people come along and they're like, oh, these tools are new and easy, and I was like, oh, I should have waited 10 minutes.
This is easy. Here we go.
Yeah. Just pain points of being a slow adopter. Anyway, that was my entrevue was as a user, but then trying to make it work. And I had already been, building websites with Dreamweaver and front page.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a home site user myself.
Yeah, and moving the little pixels around for my spacers, which to this day, every time I put a spacer block in Gutenberg,
yes,
every time I think I am putting a pixel in to block this off. It's literally, I feel like we haven't evolved.
It's it's like the CSS Zen garden never happened.
Yeah.
Why are we ignoring CSS? I actually saw. I've been experimenting a lot with blocks and block themes, as we all have to. And I saw. Who was it? I think it's the Genesis site. They were talking about how the new way to build themes is to build them with modules, and I build them block by block and have the styles in the individual blocks. And I was really just struck with this, like where's the CSS? Like why we're like inline styling? That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? Anyway, I'm sorry we're in overtime and I'm ranting about inline styling.
No, that's
Every
right.
so often I have to go on a rant about blocks and inline styling. So here it is.
I do have a couple questions. So
Yeah.
what is since we're getting nostalgic, we might as well just
You are getting very sleepy.
What's a common word domain name that you used to own? Do you have like just a normal, just common word domain name that
well,
you
I mean,
used to own?
I've had a lot. I still have a lot.
Preshrunk.org was basically
that one's good.
Common.
Yeah, it's good.
That is good.
I was never good at, again, not good at getting them ahead of time. So
yeah,
I don't know. And then I can, if I have an idea for something, I would have come up with it. But it never was a squatter. Like I would never be like, oh, someone will want this. It never occurred to me to like resell things. Like could have resold so many things, but that didn't like occur to me at all. That people would buy internet stuff.
In 98, I owned hatchback.com,
Whoa.
which was hatchback.com. Yeah.
Wow.
I drove a Civic hatchback, and so I wanted to have a website devoted to hatchbacks. And then I ended up realizing that like that's very like narrow. So I ended up getting another domain name called importstyle.com. And that was like a whole website devoted to, cars and all sorts of fun stuff.
So what did you just end up letting hatchback.com lapse?
I did. I was never good at like paying for something that I wasn't going to be using, especially way back then.
No. Let's be clear. I
have tons of domain names.
Yeah, I was like, I'm great at
don't
paying
use
for things I'm not using. That's not what I said. I'm just not good at thinking about that I might sell them someday.
Yeah, I have never
great at throwing money down a hole though.
I've never sold a domain name. It sucks.
No. Yeah, I realize that if you've held on to a domain name like idiosyncratic for, I don't know, literally like almost 20 years, you should probably not let it lapse and just put it on the auction and let someone buy it. This is what I learned. Also, when I did not sell my bookstore, but closed my bookstore, you should not do that. You should sell the business. You could make this WordPress adjacent by saying if you have a plugin or a theme or a website, don't just disappear it. Like transfer it. Disappearing it will not take it out of your consciousness. Will not give you just give it, make it, help it move on. That's what you gotta do. Anyway,
make sure
that's
it's really
my
popular.
2 tips.
Sell it to somebody else, then they'll change it into a whole different product entirely, and then push out an update.
The point is that thing won't exist anymore, living in your subconscious forever. Because let me tell you, I was going to do all sorts of cool stuff with idiosyncratic.net.
Yeah.
One of the things that just going back to old domain names, and you mentioned network solutions, I am enough of an internet ancient where I remember that you used to be able to pay network solutions with a check. You could mail them a check for your domain name. The funny thing is they would register your domain name and with the promise of a check. So there was a brief period in like the mid 90s where some friends and I had worked out a trick where we would say we were registering the domain name, never send a check, and then the domain would lapse, and then someone else would come along and register the same domain name, point it, say they were sending a check.
Oh, my Lord.
We floated at least 3 domain names that way.
You're the reason they've implemented this stupid 60-day window on either side of the domain name registration, and also the reason I never transferred idiosyncratic.net off of stupid network solutions, because I would never remember 60 days later to do it, or 60 days earlier. I
Right.
blame you. I'm glad that we got there so that I could know that that was your fault. That
Yeah.
makes me happy.
My bad.
Hey,
All right.
it
Well,
did.
I just want to tell everybody that I'm going to tweet it out, and maybe Water Cooler will, do the retweet thing or the remastodon or remasticize or whatever. What do we say?
Boost.
It's going to boost it. The last post, which is going to actually go out our time this afternoon, which is like, other time zones is later time. So I encourage, I ask, nay, I beg, not really beg, I don't beg, but like I strongly recommend that you find the announcement somewhere or check the marketing blog and participate, because you just want to, put your mark on the internet, because in 20 years, the likelihood that the make site still exists is probably pretty high, and it's probably higher than whatever the odds are for whatever tiny website you've got going on with your blog. So, it's going to be like a little time capsule, right? So participate in the time capsule today, knowing that in 20 years we'll all be way older and much more nostalgic. Oh my God, we're gonna be so old in 20 years. That was a little scary just for a minute there. I love it. So happy birthday, WordPress. Thanks for bringing us all together.
Happy birthday, WordPress.
Happy birthday, WordPress. We love you and hate you, but also mostly love you.
Here's our outro. See ya.
Listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and TIL Vids. Also, join us in the Discord. That's where the chats are at. And there are also lots of emojis.